Welcome, Dave Begg. Mate, it's so good to see you, and you're looking fantastic. Dave, can you tell us a little bit about yourself in 30 seconds, about your family, and what life was like before you started the program?
My life before the program was probably um, decent training regime, terrible diet, to be frank. So I've always been someone that's gone to the gym and trained quite hard, but I've always had this mindset that you're capable of training yourself to being thin, which everyone knows is false. But nevertheless, it's only taken me 58 years to work that out. So I'm a guy that lives with, well, it was my two kids, but one of them's gone off to college, so I'm living at home with my 21-year-old son, my wife, who's extremely busy, and my one remaining dog in a large house that you tend to rattle around in a bit. So I felt I needed to make some material changes to my life. And through Steve and his program, I think I did that, and I've had some pretty good results.
Can you tell us a bit about what your results are since being in Fitter After 40?
I did the fasting and I lost 10 kilos quick. I put a kilo back on and taken it off and put it back on and taken it off. I said to you earlier, I haven't weighed myself in 2 weeks, but I had lost another kilo again. So I'm down about 11 kilos and my body fat ratio is down under 30% for the first time in a while. So they're the markers that are important. And the fasting has been really good, but also the massive amount of information we get from you is great because I'm a voracious reader.
Can you recall the three foundational steps that you took?
First one is no longer dodging how you look in the mirror when you've had a shower. That's really important. You've got to have an element of pride in your own personal appearance. So that's foundational step number one. And good shape is also consistent with good mindset. So the two are the synthesis between the two. The better you feel in your body, the sharper you are mentally, the more acuity you have in terms of dealing with your work issues and all other issues, not just work issues, all other issues that require you to work through them in a work sense. And thirdly, and this is more from a family and collegial perspective, it just makes you a better person to be around. And look, all middle-aged men who are driven, or a lot of middle-aged men who are driven, use alcohol as a crutch, and I was certainly no exception to that. And that made me, I think, grumpier at the end of the day to be around. Not having that as a crutch has made me happier to be around. I now go out with my 21-year-old son at night and we take the dog for a walk at 9 o'clock most nights, whereas in the past, I would never think about doing that. I'd think about pouring another glass of wine. So there's a mental strength and a mental stability towards having a better body and a leaner body and a better mindset.
Tell me, I guess, what gave you the most joy or even surprised you the most?
The day of a particular medical procedure that I think you're across, I got on the scales in the morning because I knew I'd have to weigh myself for getting in, and I was almost back to my wedding weight. So that gave me great joy. I don't think I'm where I am at the moment in terms of that weight, but that gave me an enormous amount of joy to have got down under 85 kilos, which I never thought I'd see again. So that was a moment of supreme joy. Probably the other thing, not giving me joy, but is you work out how resilient your body is. So that's the thing about fasting. If you tell people, oh, I've been fasting for 3 days, most people give you this look like you're mad, and you do it for a purpose, but you also do it to stress test your body, and your body is incredibly resilient. I mean, we've got so much stored food, I suspect, in our body, or stored resources, that the need for food is 90% driven by social habits or habit generally. You eat because it's time to eat rather than because your body's telling you to eat. And I think changing that mindset is very powerful.
What would you say exceeded your expectations?
Your accessibility and availability whenever I needed you. Anytime I needed to speak to you, I could. Just the sense of collegiality around the call on a Monday morning. All blokes around my age and all blokes trying to achieve the same outcome without any pretense.
And what do you think could have been done better in the program?
I suppose there is a lot of information to distill, and the challenge is some people might find I mean, there are some people that are voracious readers and some people aren't, and that's just human nature. I am because it's what I do. It didn't worry me, but I can imagine for some people that might be a bit overwhelming.
Who else do you think would benefit from my coaching?
I actually think it's interesting because the cohort of blokes you got strike me as being kind of more kind of country blokes, farming blokes, those kind of guys that obviously you've come across in your life in kind of rural Australia. I actually think, believe it or not, people based in the city would benefit probably more, but solely because we lead more sedentary lives, right? And I go to the gym, as you know, 4 or 5 times a week. I eat up 600 or 700 calories every time I go. Now, in the past, I thought that was a panacea itself. It's not, but I'm an exception to the rule. Most people my age don't do that. And I try to still walk 5Ks a day. I'll go for a walk at lunchtime around town. Most people don't do that either. So people that actually need a proper protocol and discipline for dieting, guys that work in the city who have let things slide a bit. And again, guys in high pressure jobs where alcohol is used as a crutch, and mate, the legal industry would be writ large.
What do you think I've helped you with the most?
Personal discipline, no doubt. So the capacity for me to work out that I can survive without food for days after days. I never thought when I started I'd be able to do it, to be honest. Probably because I knew it was gonna yield results. I mean, if you fast effectively and follow a program, I think as sure as night follows day, you will lose weight. The people who aren't losing weight are the people who aren't following the program. Let's be frank about it. They're stealing a Mars bar into bed at 10 o'clock at night. That's not going to help you lose weight, right?
You are now officially fitter after 40.
Thank you, Stephen. I'm hoping that you and I can work again in the future.